Hi, my name's Dave, and I'm going to show you how our PerfectMatch paint chip system works on the hood of this car, this Volvo right here. This is our kit here. It's a standard kit, and we carry a whole bunch of custom colors and all the supplies necessary to make the repairs look right. The first thing you want to do is make sure you've got your gloves on to protect your hands. We're dealing with paint and solvents, so you want to make sure you're protected. The area that we're going to attack here is this nose of the hood on the left hand side. We've got a few chips on the side and across this front, and we're going to clean that before we do anything else. Okay, for cleaning the hood we have a car prep solution that we use. Liberally apply it to your cloth and wipe down the area. This does not hurt the paint, it just helps prep the area and clean up any contaminants that might be on the paint. It's pulling a little bit of oxidation off of the paint itself, but that won't hurt anything at all. Make sure it's cleaned thoroughly. Alright. After cleaning, the next step is to pick the right color for your car. With this being a red, we flip it open and we've got the reds all categorized here, and I believe this one is going to match up really good with red 107. So we'll mix up our paint and see how it looks. The paint's a little thick, so we'll add some reducer to get it to the right consistency. Usually you're able to find a color that matches well enough all by itself, but if not, you can mix and match and put it into a small dispensing cup. One of these small paper cups. So I'm just going to mix this in. I'm going to close it up and give it a shake. So you want your paint to end up the kind of the consistency of a light syrup, like that. If you get it too thin, it won't be strong anymore, and if you get it try to apply it too thick, it takes way too long to dry and won't level properly. So that's where we want it to be. And we put a little bit into the cup we're going to deal with. And we're ready to apply. When it comes to applying the paint, we've got a couple of different methods that we've proven to work very, very well. One is to use a Q-tip, and we roll the paint into the chip, and I'll show you what that looks like. Another way is to take an older rag that you've used and cut yourself a corner of it out, and by folding it up you can create a little bit of a dauber. So you put in the paint and you can rub it right into a heavily chipped area. Those are the two methods. I'll show you both. Here's some of the chips we're going to be taking care of. That large one there, and all this small road rash, as well as over here we've got quite a few, and on this corner we've got quite a few on the corner that we'll take care of, and we'll see what we come up with when we're done. Now when it comes to repairing your chips, you have to examine the chip really closely. Hopefully you can see it by the video, but there's a little bit of a loose edge here on one edge of the chip. There's different ways to kind of clean that up and make it ready to repair. If you try to put the paint on now, that edge will show. I like using the smooth edge of a nickel and a little gentle pressure, and just gently take that edge of raised paint off. Now you're ready to go. Okay, so we've got our color prepared, And we take a Q-tip and gently roll it into the color so it builds up on the end of the Q-tip. Q-tips rolled to a point. Then we take and we roll and dab these chips. Dab the paint into the chips like that. And don't worry if it sits up on the outside. We're not going to bother about that. We'll clean it up. That's one way to apply, and I'll now show you the other way with the dauber. By preparing our cloth dauber, you just grab some paint and you can take it and swirl a small area of chips, and it gets the smaller ones without having to treat each piece individually. Sometimes you need 3 or 4 light layers to make to get it full. Even after rubbing it in a little bit, sometimes you still have to go behind and hit it with the Q-tip for the larger ones to fill it up. The larger ones may need a bit more time to make sure that they dry flush with the level of the paint. Okay, so I'm almost finished preparing the hood, getting the paint on, and as soon as we're finished, we're going to leave it between 5 and 20 minutes, depends on how warm it is outside, and we'll start removing what we've done here. So I'm just making sure that we get it completely filled up and all the small chips addressed. That's good. Alright, at this point, I think we're ready to start removing the excess paint from the top of the hood. So we take our PS solution and we liberally soak a rag with that. Get a lot of it on the rag. And the trick is here that the solution does the work. You don't have to scrub hard. So you gently rub and the solution will break down the paint that's not in the chip but sitting on top of the clear coat. You can see the paint on the rag, it's coming up. Sometimes you turn that rag, give yourself a chance to find a cleaner spot, and rub a little more. If you find the paint is still too soft and maybe you're a little early, you just wait for a couple of minutes and let it continue to set up a little bit more. Or if you feel like it's ready, you can take your microfiber towel and begin polishing it up and see where you're at. It looks like we may need to wait just a little more time and then remove some more of this paint.